Okay, this is the Cascade. It's a fabulous salmon fly, popular all over the world, devised by Ali Gowans of Ali's shrimp fame and lots of other salmon flies. He seems to like the ones with the salmon flies with the long tail, and I've got to tell you, they're very, very successful. Usually tied on low water salmon hooks in size 6, 8, but can be tied as small as a size 10 or even as down to a 12. I'm going to tie on a size 6 today in an effort to give you a better view of the video. Now these colours of red and yellow have proved most attractive to salmon. Incidentally, I often use a bluey one in South Wales, but I don't want to talk about that at the moment because that may confuse some people. It's been tied in various colours. Black is very good. There's a green one, but there's nothing quite like the original one. Pardon me. It's very popular in Canada for steelhead. And my friends who fly fish for salmon, especially my friends in Scotland, look upon it as an indispensable pattern. I mentioned the blue one used in South Wales for sea trout, but I've got to be honest, the original is also very, very good for sea trout and at times has provided me with some wonderful sport. Okay, I'm going to start the fly. I'll start the silk. Here, I'm using a black silk, and I'll just take it down towards the bend. It doesn't, I'm not going to give it a big foundation of silk. I don't think it matters much on this fly. I like a foundation of silk, especially on dry flies or flies where the body is going to be where we need it smooth. Well, you know, we will have a smooth body on this fly, but this is okay. Just sort of open spiral in turns. Get it down here because I'm going to put on a tag, a silver tag right at the bend here, which is the first item to go on. And I'm going to use this French uni twist. It's just to give you an idea of it, something I don't use much of, but it's got a nice sort of sparkle to it, and I'll be using it as a rib as well. Right, I'll just cut a bit off for the tag, which is here, and I'll tie this in just here to give the tag. Very pretty fly, very attractive fly, and as I say, very, very popular all over the world. Park my silk up the front, 1, 2, 3, and I'm just going to put on this tag. When you wind a tag like this, try to keep the windings close, like this. Wonder if the light is coming okay on the video. When I say close up these winds here. That's enough for the tag, so I'll take my silk back where I can secure it. Remove the surplus. Okay, that's the tag. Now I'm going to put on the tail, and the tail is a mix of red and yellow bucktail. This is the yellow one, and I mix it. This is the red. Mix them together with some crystal hair. Now the thing is, we don't want too much of this, and so because we're putting on 2 lots, one lot like this. First of all, I take out any under fur here, just get it out, and I try to line up the tips a bit. Very long ones I move down like this, and if you want to, you can stack it. I'm not a big fan of stacking, but I do stack occasionally, and I'll stack today just to give you an idea, those of you who don't know what it is. Before I do that, I'm going to trim the big long ends off the stubs. I've just cut those there because when I put this in the hair stacker, this is the hair stacker, when I put them in, get them all in like this. If they were long, it wouldn't be so easy for them to drop down and get level. And when they're in there, I tap down like this. You can see now how the different ends are different levels because the bottom, in theory, is leveling up. Now, I did say I'm not a big fan of stacking because if you stack too much, you can get like a square wing, and we want a sort of tapered wing. Now this tail, I should say, this tail should be about 1.5 times the length of the body. So there's one, and it's about where my fingers are. So I'll just tie this in for now, just like that, for a mo. Now that's the yellow. I'm going to put some crystal hair, and I'm going to put some red. Next is the red, and I'm going to do a similar thing, but before I do that, I've got some crystal hair here that I'm going to, I think that's a blue one, so I won't use that, I'll get the silver. This is a crystal hair. I've got blue and silver, so I'll just cut out a couple of strands of this ready to tie in. Bear with me while I'm out of sight here. Okay, now again, we don't want too many, so I'll cut this piece into about 3 and tie it in. They don't have to be the same length. In fact, it's better if they're not the same length because they again will have a sort of a taper to them, but you can trim them if they turn out to be the same length, but it doesn't matter all that much. Just bear with me while I pick them up here. I've got 3 strands there, and I'm just going to tie them in. They look pretty good actually, about that length, so that'll be okay. Now when I put the red on, they will have mixed in with it. Here's the red bucktail. Again, I remove some, not too much. There are some popular salmon flies with these colours, as you will know, and they are successful colours. Just bear with me when I get the rubbish out of the butts, out of the stubs here. Okay. There's the tail again, red one going on. And mixed in with there is the crystal hair. Okay, that's more or less how I want it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to keep things fairly level up to about this part of the fly, because I'm going to put on the silver in a moment with hair, which can be very slippery, as you may have heard me say in the past. So I often put in some ordinary fly tie-in varnish. Now that will sort of push in and keep the hair in nice and firm. Take the silk back down, ready to start in for the first part of the body. The body is in 2 parts. The rear end of the body is in silver, and I'm going to use the holographic silver for this because I like it. Pardon me. I just got the broad holographic silver. This is it here, and I've cut a section off which I'm going to tie in. It's the same both sides, so it doesn't matter which side you put on. Trying to keep things level all the time if I can. Okay, I'll park my silk up the front again. I'll put a touch more varnish, just a touch, just to ensure it sticks. I've forgotten the rib, so I'm going to put the rib on. The rib in theory should have gone in first, but it doesn't really matter. I can tie it in. Let's get back here, tie in the rib. Like this. Take the silk back up. You can tie up a dozen or so of these, and when you go to do one on camera, you'll forget something. Okay. In theory, the rib should have gone in before the body, but it's not the end of the world. Right, here we go. I'm winding the holographic body, just the rear end of this fly. Sorry if my fingers are in the way here. And this just goes halfway up the fly to about there. So now I'll get my silk back down to secure this. Just like that. Secure it. Couple of winds, enough to do another one. Left here. And the front half of the body should be black floss, but you probably know I like to use black wool. I think it's fabulous material. Pardon me. So I'm going to tie in this wool just here. Little touch of varnish again, just to make things a bit more durable. Don't need to do this, but I'm anticipating you're getting a lot of action on this fly from salmon's teeth. Okay, here we go. I'm now going to wind the front half of the body. Black again is always a good colour on a salmon fly or a sea trout fly. And I'm going to secure that there. That ties that down and nip off the surplus, and again that'll be used for another fly. Okay, now I'm going to rib it. I don't need to counterwind the rib. Can if you want to, but with a nice firm body like this, it doesn't matter. Not in my opinion anyway. Okay, you see the body there? Securing it again. Secure the rib. Okay, that's it. Now it's the wing. And the wing should be black squirrel with black squirrel tail. I'm going to use this mink tail because we got plenty of mink that are getting killed around here, and the gamekeeper is a friend of mine, and as long as the mink, smelly old animal, as long as it's cured properly, you've got a wonderful soft fly, in a soft wing, in my opinion, better than squirrel. Don't need too much of it. It can be too heavy sometimes. This is how I'm going to line it up, and that's plenty of it. And this wing also has some strands of crystal hair. must show respect to Ali Gowans, and I hope he doesn't mind me varying its pattern a little bit. But as I've said before, if you don't have the material, use the next best thing, and it may even prove to be better. Okay, measure up about halfway along the tail for this wing. That's the type of thing. Always take care when you're cutting the roots, because you can distort the wing, so just go careful and cut like that, and put on some varnish at the roots, pardon me, which again will help to secure this slippery fur. Slippery hair wing. Okay, we're there on the wing. Now I'm going to give some nice winds to push that varnish down in and build up, ready for the hackles. Okay, now there's the wing, and you'll notice this is a nice streamlined fly. It goes in like this. Bit of crystal hair first. I put in another 3 strands. This adds a bit of flash and does add some attraction to the fly. Again, better to be tapered rather than all one length. I don't like them one length. This is a type of thing. Just like this. That's the crystal hair. Nip out the surplus, the waste. Now I'm going to talk about the hackle. Okay, there's 2 hackles go on this fly. The first one is a yellow cock cape. So I select one there, medium-sized one. Just bear with me while I do that. That's one. This is the hackle I'm going to use. So I clear out the rubbish off the bottom like this. Remove the waste, and I tie this in on the side. With these biggish hackles, I can see my silk biting into the stalk. So I don't need, and the hackle stalk is quite thick, so I don't need to double the stalk back. Hopefully it won't pull out. Okay, I just move my silk up the front a little. Now I'm going to wind this hackle, and you see how I'm doubling this hackle. Draw it back like this. Draw it back, double in the hackle, draw it back. Got to leave some room because we're going to put a red one on in front of it. That's about enough. Yeah, give it another half a wind. Take my silk back down, ready to secure it. And I do that. Cut off this surplus tip, like that. Draw this hackle back. And now the red one. Red cape. Select a similar size hackle, possibly, if you wanted to, a little bit bigger. I'll take this one. I'll take this one out. Remove the rubbish. That's about it. These are white. These were white cock hackles, as you can see by the stalk. white cock hackles which have been dyed red. And this is the last item on this fly. So I tie this on the side as well. This is a very pretty and attractive fly. Not only to the fish, but to the fisherman. Okay, similar procedure. I'll just put my silk well forward. Similar procedure. Draw back the hackle to double it. This is what we call doubling it. And I wind it like this. Draw it back. Look at it. Normally about 3 turns each one. This is the last turn. And there we are. Right, now I'm going to secure it and form the head. 1 wind will do it temporarily. 2, 3, and I'll nip out the hackle. Okie doke. Now I'll draw things back and try to neaten it all up to secure the fly. Got one little stub there of hackle, which I'll try to catch. Sticking up, so I'll remove it. Don't know if you can see it, but there it is. I'm going to wind up onto these hackles a little bit, not too much, because it'll give them the profile I'm looking for, hopefully. Okay. Now I'm going to form the head to secure everything down. This secures the whole fly and neatens up everything. We're getting there, we're getting there. Okay, I'm going to put on my whip finish. Capture this top one and I wind it around. 2, 3, 4, 5 because it's a big fly. Put the needle in. Draw it up and I remove the needle. Now I'm going to cut the silk. Usual procedure. Open it to a gape. Just going to have a quick look. Yeah, it looks neat enough to me. Lovely fly this. And I'm going to varnish the head. Now I know the eye is clear because it's a big eye and I didn't go anywhere near it. But I will double check it when I varnish the head. Salmon fishermen love this fly, and so do I. I don't do a lot of salmon fishing. I'm more trout and a sea trout, because we don't have a lot of salmon in our area, but they are increasing, and I do send some of these flies to my friends and relation in Scotland. Okay, that's the Cascade, and it's a wonderful fly, and if you enjoyed that video as much as me, I will look forward to seeing you next time on Peter Ross on Fly Tying, and I hope you picked up a few tips. Thank you for that.